Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be your silence speaks louder than your words. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So frequently I create videos on silence and how it is a superpower, specifically post-narcissistic relationship, or once you've identified that in fact you are in a situation or circumstance, relationship with a toxic person, maybe even a narcissist. Your silence is empowering. Now, post-narcissistic relationship, many of us have reached the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, when we no longer care about the narcissist or people associated from that period of time. The narcissists did their best. They almost took us down and out for the count, but they didn't. They failed miserably, like they fail with almost everything they attempt to do. Having said all these things, your silence speaks louder than your words. When you can master your silence and master your energy and understand that when you were in the relationship with the narcissist, you could hardly master anything because you were on that roller coaster of emotions. You were being peppered with abuse, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, every way possible. Now, when you were in that relationship, you did not know what you were up against. You didn't know anything, and you were explaining yourself to the narcissist so frequently. You were reporting back to them whether you knew it or not. You were on a roller coaster of emotions, being taken super high and dropped to the depths of you know what. All of these things, they encompass the narcissistic behavior, meaning you can't get stability or serenity or peace or like-mindedness when you're in a narcissistic relationship. What you get is you get manipulation, you get partial truths, untruths, you get flat-out lies, you get misdirection, you get peppered with so many narcissistic traits or abuse techniques, which include gaslighting, the smear campaign, the silent treatment, stonewalling, rage fits. You experience things that many people, not only do they not experience, but they couldn't even fathom. But yet this was your life, and it still is your life, because now my hope is that you've reached that pinnacle of indifference and you've now blocked the narcissist, gone no contact with them, deleted them, removed them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. If you've done that, that's a great thing. If you haven't, I understand. Take your time. In time, you will take the proper steps needed to insulate and protect yourself, and silence will be one of them. I will share this before I continue. Remember, if you can't go no contact, utilize gray rock, become dull and boring, and get off the radar of the narcissist. But your silence speaks louder than your words. When you were in that relationship, again, you were defending yourself. You were being taken super high and low emotionally. Think about many times you would be getting ready to go to an event. Let's say it was a holiday and you were getting prepared and ready, and you were ready on time like you usually were. And the narcissist, perhaps they weren't ready because they wanted to make a dramatic entrance to that event. So they made you late. They made you wait downstairs and perhaps consume your time. And they would tell you, yeah, I'll just be ready in a few minutes. And a few minutes turned into 30. And then an hour later, they came down and looked at you like you were from Mars and said, you ready? And you're like, yeah, I've been ready since an hour and a half ago. What's going on here? But then they would look at you like you're supposed to wait for them. Now, I get a few things here. People in the older days, many times people would want to show up fashionably late. I get that. That doesn't really apply these days in the current year, because now that I've understood what narcissism is, and my hope is you're getting the same wisdom on the channel, many people that do want to show up fashionably late, first of all, that's an old, antiquated term, but second of all, it's to be seen. Understand what I'm sharing with you. The narcissist wanted to enter events or holidays late on purpose, so there would be a gallery, so there would be an army of people there watching them enter the event, and all the eyes would be on them because they were late, and now they became the centerpiece, and that's what people would be talking about. Please get the message. The narcissist would not want to be at the event first. I'll tell you why. Because if they're there first, then they're just another average human being, and there are not many people there to get supply from, so they will get bored and jaded. What they would like to do is go late, so all the eyes are on them, and then they can make an appearance. Please understand that part of the message. It's instrumental. It seems so small, but it's completely true, and drop comments below if that resonates with you. Your silence does the speaking for you. Your silence does the talking for you. It's stronger than your words, because when you were defending yourself and explaining yourself and calling out the poor behavior of the narcissist, The narcissist back then, what they would do is, and they're doing it right now with the new supply, I'm certain, they would be blame shifting or criticizing or saying that it's no big deal, just move on, or forget about it, or they would pinpoint one of your faults that perhaps you did maybe 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago. See, the narcissist can't introspect. They're not accountable, and they don't want to ever believe that they are inferior to anybody. The narcissist believes that they are superior to virtually everybody on the planet, and they believe that they are entitled, and they believe that people should be fawning all over them and doing things for them. What the narcissist wants is they want to consume your energy. They want to really have you not in a good place. So let's understand one thing here. Why your silence does the talking for you, it does it because when you do not engage with a person, you just choose radio silence, maybe you block them or not, but let's say you're at an event and the narcissist is there. I'm talking about not a former relationship, a new person you've identified who is a narcissist. Well, you've identified that person. Are you going to play ball with them and go and say hi to them and talk small talk and all the boring things that you usually would do with the narcissist? No, those days are over. You now have the wisdom. You can nod your head, recognize that they're there, and move on to like-minded people that you want to communicate with. But the narcissist will always want to consume your energy, and they will want to disrupt your energy. And silence is something the narcissist does not like. There are two things the narcissist really sincerely doesn't like for this video. One is the word no. When you say no to something or someone, you are saying yes to yourself. And no, back then when you were in the relationship with the narcissist, that was an unheard of word. It was a taboo. You couldn't say no if your life depended upon it, because the narcissist, if they heard that, you would get a rage fit, or you would get intimacy withheld, or you would get blame shifting, or you would get gaslighting. You would get anything, because the narcissist does not want to hear the word no. They need to hear yes, I will do it, and I'll do it 10 times over. Yes, may I have another? Yes, that's what they want. They want a pawn or a puppet or an errand person or someone to be subservient to them. They want an unpaid helper. They want a walking apology. They do not want somebody standing up for themselves. So your silence does the talking for you. It's more powerful than your words, because you cannot communicate with the narcissist. You couldn't communicate with them back then. You can't now, and you never will be able to. Bear this in mind as well. The narcissist will come at you in different shapes and forms. They will be male, female, they will be from different countries, speak different languages. They're all over the place. It's not until you get the wisdom and you go no contact and block these people, or you conserve your energy and now you have boundaries and you utilize your silence. Understand this part of the message of the video. Your silence sincerely is a superpower. If you are, let's say that you went to an event and there was some toxicity going on around you, but not directed at you, what you could do is you could stand up and say, hey, that's not proper behavior, and call them out. Would you want to do that? I'm not so sure. What you may want to do is just listen and observe and think to yourself, wow, that person who's dishing out the toxicity, that is a narcissist, most likely, or toxic person. And the person that they're abusing right in front of me, that person doesn't have the wisdom. They don't know what's going on. Now, you could step in and say something. I'm suggesting you don't, unfortunately, because you are the priority. You come first, second, and third. And even if you were to step in there and try to interject, it probably would not go well for you, because the victim probably would take the side of the narcissist, and the narcissist would probably look at you as a target. And here we go again. That's not what you want to be doing. You want to be focusing on yourself, but paying attention. You want to be observant. You want to be silent. You want to be stoic. You want to be centered. You want to be calm. You want to be living in the present moment. You want to be learning the lifelong lessons from the past narcissistic relationship and applying them to present day. You do not want to be predicting the future. Now, in the videos, I mentioned so many statements and comments and phrases that I've coined over the years, and these are repetitive on purpose. They're meant to get you to understand that maybe this message today isn't for you, but maybe in a few months it will, and you'll go back and you'll find this video and you'll say, oh my gosh, that's what Andrew meant when he said your silence does the talking for you, because it does. That's exactly how this works. Go back in time again when you were with the narcissist. What were you doing? You were always putting out fires. You were being there for them. You were putting them high up on the pedestal to the detriment of yourself. You were believing in the mask. You were believing that if you explain things to the narcissist and explain to them your point of view and how things weren't working out the way you wanted them to, and perhaps you didn't sign up for a relationship like that. When you did all those things, number one, you were giving the narcissist supply. Number two, you were letting them know what your thoughts were. Number three, you didn't know that they were a narcissist because you weren't taught that in school. Number four, you were burning yourself out. And number five, you were giving the narcissist more information about which angle to come at you abuse-wise. Would they be gaslighting you? Would they be letting you go on and on, explain yourself? Would they blame shift you? Would they verbally abuse you? Would they act like they were listening and paying attention and then try to hit you up for a couple $1,000s? Who knows what they would do? But they were watching you and observing you and the relationship from the minute you entered that relationship with them until the very end. And even then, perhaps you experienced the Hoover, which I'll talk about in a moment. Point being, your silence is a superpower. Your silence is a superpower on steroids when you get the wisdom and you apply the tools that are provided for you in the community here. Your silence is very, very empowering. It's something the narcissist doesn't like. The narcissist cannot just be. Think about this for a minute. When you would be on the couch sitting perhaps next to the narcissist, and perhaps you would be watching a Netflix show way back then, or a movie or something. Well, what would the narcissist be doing? They probably would be on one of their 3 smartphones telling you, oh no, just hit play, it's no big thing. It's okay, I'll catch up with the movie later. And then you would be sitting right next to them, but you would never feel more isolated or alone when you were sitting right next to them because they weren't spending quality time with you. What they were doing is they were on their smartphone getting your replacement, looking for new sources of supply, giggling and laughing. And then you would look over at them and say, hey, what's so funny? That part of the movie wasn't funny. And they would say, oh no, it's nothing. It's just keep hitting play. It's fine. Everything's good. And you're scratching your head and you look down and you see their smartphone and they're texting somebody that you've never even seen before, their name or something. Again, you're put in an awkward position. What are you supposed to do? Do you call them out and say something and then experience a rage fit that night or maybe over the weekend? Or do you just continue to hit play and you can't even focus on the movie anymore because the narcissist is sitting next to you laughing and chuckling and you can't even enjoy the movie? These are the awkward, precarious situations the narcissist puts people in. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. That's why the path is to remove yourself from these relationships and to clearly understand and identify that your silence is the key. Your silence and your non-emotional behavior with individuals is the path. Again, there are times in life when we all will be tested and tried. If you were in a narcissistic relationship, drop comments below. You know just what I'm talking about. But now that you've gotten the wisdom, you're applying the tools, you understand your energy is priceless. Your time is priceless. Your resources are invaluable. And this journey called life is your journey. It's not for another person to tell you what to do, when to do it, and with whom to do it with. It's not for another person to give you an endless to-do list, to go to the grocery store, go shopping and buy everything you needed for the week, and then you bought the wrong loaf of bread or you bought the wrong peanut butter and you had to go back and replace it 3 different times. It's not for someone to tell you, hey, pick me up at 5 on a Friday, which was the narcissist, and then you're there at 4:30, but they're not done till 6:30. Now you just wasted 2 hours of your life. Or you're there at 5 o'clock and they say, wait a minute, I'll be back, I have to do something. And they come back at 5:30, you're still waiting and wasting your time. Or you're there late and then they're outside waiting for you because they knew you would be late and they're gonna make you pay for being late. So then they will pepper you. I had to wait 15 minutes for you, what's going on? You didn't even call me, you didn't even text me, I don't get this, what is this? You know I'm always on time for you. And you're scratching your head saying, there was traffic on the freeway, there's nothing I could do. Well, I mean, people get late. But no, you would be punished. Why? Because you were you and you were being late. It was an accident. You can't win in these narcissistic relationships. You may think that the narcissist will change. You may think that talking to them and trying to rationalize with them will change the behavior. All it does is it gives them more and more information, more and more ammunition to pepper you with the toxicity that they will be peppering other people with all over the globe if given the opportunity. So your silence does the talking for you. It sincerely does. And it does the right kind of talking for you. Because when you finally understand that the narcissist is a shallow, hollow, empty, anxiety-riddled, frail individual at their core, they are really weak. They need people to believe in the mask. They need people to fawn all over them. They need people to fall in love with them when, remember, the narcissist cannot fall in love themselves. They have no love and no empathy. They're empty shells walking around on the planet, and they manipulate people and they try to trick them and trap them and have them believe in the mask. So now jumping into the Hoover aspect, remember, if you were hoovered or you're being hoovered right now, do not accept the Hoover. What a Hoover is, in layman's terms, it's when the narcissist is running low on narcissistic supply, or they're testing the temperature of you in the relationship, or they're seeing if you've healed, or they're seeing if you'll go back for one more round of abuse, and they want to stay living in your mind rent-free. That's what they're trying to do, if you really want the honest truth to boil it down. Now, when they do that, many times people who are have not broken the trauma bond, they are extremely susceptible to falling prey to the Hoover, because one, they don't know the wisdom. They don't have the wisdom on the narcissistic abusive cycle. But two, they're in the trauma bond. They're in a place they did not even know that they were in, and they did not even know it existed. And third of all, they didn't even know how they got there. They got there on purpose, but at the hands of the narcissist. The narcissist placed them there on that roller coaster of emotions, the push-pull, the high-low. That's how the narcissist gets most of their subjects, to be placed in the trauma bond, because there's no stability in these relationships, and the narcissist knows this. They want to keep you stuck in that low vibrational state down where they exist. But again, the Hoover is meant to have people drawn or fall back into the relationship, even if it's for 10 minutes, for a half a day, for a week, a month, maybe years, who knows. But don't accept the Hoover, because what that means is you're sending a clear signal to the narcissist that A, you haven't healed, B, you're open to rekindling the relationship, or C, you're willing to listen to their words. The narcissist's words, they mean nothing. They will say anything they can at times when they're desperate, or even when they're not, to get people to believe that they've changed, to get people to believe that they've found Jesus, to get people to believe that they want to fall in love again, or that they've seen a therapist and they've healed, or whatever you want to say. The narcissist is incapable of change. You need to get that. And if you think for a minute that they can change, think again. They can't. They don't want to. It would be too painful for them to go back in time and to review all the lives that they've blown up, all the relationships that they've driven wedges between, all of the families they've destroyed, all of the parental alienation they've dished out, all of the financial abuse that they've dished out. This is the life of the narcissist. They are a one-person wrecking ball going through life, destroying anything that comes in their path. This is why the narcissist needs to find new sources of supply, because they burn out the old sources of supply. Remember, you at one point, you were the new supply. I was the new supply too. In one of the videos that I created years ago, we are not supply. We're beautiful, bright, shining lights. We are empaths. We're kind. We're loving. We are abundant, and we want the best for ourselves and those loved and trusted ones around us. But before we got the wisdom on narcissism, we thought that most people thought the way we did. They don't, they can't, and they never will. And that is what the narcissist is. There's somebody who wants to steal your beautiful bright light. There's someone who wants to steal your energy. There's someone who does not want you to be silent. They need people's energy to fuel themselves, to regulate themselves. That's why with narcissistic supply, it's either positive or it's negative. And my take, and I will not change my mind ever on this one, is the narcissist enjoys negative supply more than positive supply. Because if they can take somebody who's beautiful and abundant, the bright shining light that you are, and they can capture you and keep you prisoner, mentally prisoner in your mind, because you're in the trauma bond, if they can keep you down there for a period of time, which was the length of the relationship, they are getting supply left, right, and center, because what they're doing is they're observing you. They're watching you. They're watching you squirm. They're watching you talk to them and explain yourself and defend yourself and ask why. Why can't you change? What's going on? I don't get it. I don't understand. This is giving them supply, and they love this. Now, does the narcissist like positive supply? Of course they do. They like attention. They like adoration. They like their appearances to be perfect. They want everything to be about them. But the thing is here for this video, before I close it, is the narcissist, they do not want you to be silent. They do not want you to find that needle in a haystack. They do not want you to get the wisdom on the narcissistic abusive cycle. They do not want you to break the trauma bond. They do not want you to heal. They do not want you to close the chapter on the book on these people. They want to keep that door open so that you can be susceptible to a Hoover. Maybe a month down the road, 6 months, a year, 10 years, 30 years, who knows? The narcissist has always thought that they owned you. They have. And I'll tell you exactly why they thought that they owned you. Because they had the ability to place you in a place that you did not know existed, which is the trauma bond or the narcissistic fog. They did that on purpose. Now, they don't believe that you'll ever escape, but you've made it this far in the video, so you certainly have escaped in your healing, or you've reached that pinnacle of indifference, that mountaintop of indifference. Either way, the narcissist is the one constant in the cycle. They cannot change. The only thing that happens with them is they age and they become the aging narcissist, which is not a pretty sight to see. I did a whole series on that. Check it out. The aging narcissist. It's not a pretty sight to see, because these people consume themselves in the end. There's no love inside of them. There's no beauty. There's no abundance. There's nothing. They're rotten to the core. They're like an apple that looked, when they were younger, that looked beautiful. You took a bite of it and it was covered with worms and larvae on the inside. That's what the narcissist is at their core. And they know it, and you know it. The whole point is your silence does the talking for you. It really does. So close the chapter on the narcissist. block them, delete them, etc. Do not accept a Hoover. Understand the narcissist just wants to keep you in the manipulation games. They want to keep you trapped in that cycle, and they want it to keep going around and around. The more people they can keep trapped in that loop of abuse, the better off it is for them, and the worse off it is for you. So everyone understand that. That's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. And understand, get the message. Your silence is empowering. You don't have to explain anything to anybody. You don't have to defend anything to anybody. When you were discarded, if you were, my heart goes out to you. That was one of the most challenging, debilitating experiences to go through on this whole entire planet, because you believed and you loved a person who you thought would always be there for you, but that's not what they did. They discarded you and they threw you away like a sheet of paper on the freeway. Having said that, when you picked yourself up by the bootstraps and dusted yourself off and healed, and you found that needle in a haystack, which is the narcissistic abusive cycle, and you practiced radical acceptance and you put yourself back together, you're a galvanized version of yourself. You're one of the strongest people on this planet, whether you know it or not. And I'm not talking physically, I'm talking mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You are really an incredible human being. You need to play this video a few times and understand that the narcissists did their best to take you down and knock you out for the count. They failed, and believe me when I tell you, they are failing with the new supply and other people right now too. You may not know what I'm about to share with you, but I'll tell you this, and I'm going to close it out. The narcissist, they know who they are, they know what they're doing, and they also never ever thought that you would figure them out. That's what you've done, that's what you're doing. The new supply, again, they're either a toxic narcissist themselves, or my hope is they do figure it out. If not, they're going to be stuck in the trauma bond. Guys, God bless you. I love you all. I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, have a great day. Bye.